Welcome back. In a previous video, we took a trip out to West Swansea, New Hampshire to Bill's Trading Post and picked up this crate, or bin, of loose Edison diamond discs. Now I don't know what's in this stack, but we're going to go through every single one. I'm going to grade them in, I'm going to grade their condition. It'll be, I'm going to do, I think I'm going to do like 4 different grades. Let's do very good, good, poor, something like that. And they're all getting cleaned with rubbing alcohol. I use rubbing alcohol because it, if I wipe it on, I'm going to do from the inside out on a microfiber cloth to clean the surface of the discs. But the rubbing alcohol will evaporate very quickly and it won't affect the surface. Now you cannot use rubbing alcohol on a traditional shellac record because it will eat through the shellac. So these are not shellac surfaced, so we'll be fine. So I've already done one. I'm making also recording what exactly I have here. So, and I've got that. The thing with these Edison discs is they all seem to have multiple artists on one disc. So we have one artist, one song on one side, and a different artist on the other. So it's not like an album, for example, that we're all used to. So let's get on with it. So I'm not going to record myself doing all of this, but I'll show you the results at the end of the day. So here we go. So while going through all these records, and I'm not even halfway through, and I still haven't even gone through my existing collection. I found this one called Barney's Wedding. It's a monologue, and I'm really kind of curious as to what it is. So let's get it going. Kind of want to hear this one. So here we go. Yeah, that would have sucked. Okay.
Hello, Central. Give me one, and another one. Spring. No, not summer, spring. Hello, who is that? Who is this? I'm asking you, who is that? No, sir, I wouldn't tell you who is this until you tell me who is that. Who? Oh, hello, Julius. Well, hello, Julius. Hey, listen, Julius. Say, what's the matter? You didn't come to my wedding last night. What? Well, I should say it was. Oh, my goodness. You don't know what you missed. Oh, we had the wedding in a hall. The hall was decorated beautiful with shamrocks, green flags from an Irish ball the night before. As soon as you got into the hall, you could tell right away that the Irishman had a great time there the night before, yeah. Every chair in the hall was broken. And would you believe it, there was about 50 or 75 automobiles lined up in front from the hall. But, no, there was a garage next door. Yeah, the ceremony was very impressive. Everybody was crying. The bride's mother, she was hysterical. I took one look at the bride and I got hysterical. The bridesmaids, they were all schoolgirl chumps of the bride. And let me tell you something, Julius. They certainly look beautiful with their white dresses and gray hairs and everything would have been all right if it hadn't been for my wife's relations. You see, when supper was announced, her relations behaved something disgraceful. The way that they were trying to push my relations in the back, why, if my relations hadn't been such good, strong people, why, they would have never got seats at the supper table at all. No, sir, they would have had to stand up, the same as her relations did. And to show you what her relations know from society, in the middle from the supper, Milton Hershkovitz, the bride's cousin, what do you think he did, huh? What do you think? Well, he laid down 50 cents on the table to tip the waiter. 50 cents. Can you imagine it, huh, Julius? I was so ashamed that the waiter should see it, so when he wasn't looking, well, anyhow, the supper was really gorgeous. Oh, the table was decorated beautiful. There was a flower at each plate and plenty of napkins of the finest tissue paper. And everything was done in real French style. You know, served in courses. The first courses was, let me see, oh yeah, half an orange. In the middle was standing up a cherry. Them oranges was no good. They was big, but yellow and bitter. You can believe me, Julius. I made a big holler. Yeah, the bride's mother said, keep quiet. Them is grapefruits, no? All she knows, grapefruits. They was too big for grapes. Next we had oysters on the half shell. My father-in-law, sitting to the right of me, said he couldn't eat the bottom without the nutcracker, no? Was he mad at the caterer? The caterer was mad too. They had a terrible big fight. Then we had punch. The caterer punched my father-in-law in the eye. And say, Julius, I almost forgot to tell you, we had champagne too. The real stuff. $1 a quart wholesale. Oh, it made everybody feel happy. I was under the weather. Yeah. Would you believe it, Julius? I was so intoxicated, I loaned my father-in-law $5. He was intoxicated too. Yeah. He promised to pay it back, no? What do you think of that? Well.
That was side one. It turns out this is more like reminds me a little bit like Cohen on the Telephone, which was a record that I had for the Graffinola that I used to have. Basically, it's a recording of a fictitious telephone call, 1900s style. Well, this actually might be more like 1920s. Roll it up a little bit. The gentleman who's doing the monologue, which is Aaron Hoffman. It says Aaron Hoffman, Barney Ward. Oh, Barney Ward is the name of the character. He is clearly mimicking a Jewish accent, a stereotypical Jewish accent of the time period. And race comedy was a big thing back then. You can clearly hear that it's a knock on Irish, Jewish stereotypes. And that's all I picked out of the first half. Let's see what the second half sounds like.
Listen, Julius, did I ever tell you how I accidentally married my wife? No? Well, I'll tell you. You see, originally, I was keeping company with her younger sister, Rosalie. And believe me, she is some chicken, only 20 years old. Ned, what a shape she's got. Solid, fat, plastic, you know. Oh, you know, the kind that I like, well. Well, anyhow, I went to see her father. He's the president of the Lefkowitz Wine Company, Inc. I'm afraid it's going to be Inc. now. He's been very, very successful. He's been in bankruptcy twice. Oh, he's a very rich man. He shook me by the hand, gave me a cigar from his pocket, took a good one out from the drawer for himself, and by the time he was through with me, I was engaged to marry Rosalie's older sister, Jenny. Yeah, the skinny one. She's as long as a letter from home and as thin as an alibi. Of course, Jenny don't meet up with my requirements like Rosalie, but he made me excellent inducement. He gave me a check for $5,000. And I must tell you about the wedding presents. Oh, were they beautiful. My God. We had 3 detectives, mind you, to watch the presents, and 3 of my brothers to watch the detectives. Everybody sent something. Goodman, the banker, sent his card. Goldberg, the tailor, sent his bill. Mrs. Applebaum sent a beautiful fruit bowl, cut glass, cut from $1 to 98 cents. Mrs. Winkleman, her husband owns a cigar store. She sent a beautiful chafing dish. It looked just like a cuspidor. It must have cost at least, well, what shall I tell you, Julius? At least 5,000 coupons. And talk about knives and forks. Oh, my good Julius, I tell you, he had about 50 sets. Some was the Raja Brothers 1847, some was Knickerbocker Hotel, 42nd Street and Broadway, Reuben Samuels, the life insurance agent. He sent, what a picture for the front parlor. The name from the picture is, let me see now. Oh, yeah, I remember. January. When you tear off a piece of paper, it's February. And you know Stein, the crockery dealer? Oh, what a stingy that fellow is. He couldn't come. So he sent half a dozen little Steins. And know how they could eat. And I almost forgot to tell you about the wedding cake. Now, there was something that was really a work of art. It was shaped like a boat, a regular 11-decker. The upper deck was chocolate, the steerage/bananas, and while everybody was dancing, the 6 little Steins sneaked into the dining room, and what do you think, Julius, huh? They sunk the boat. Well, anyhow, about 4 o'clock in the morning, the beer gave out, and everybody commenced to get ready to go home. Babies were asleep in their mother's arms, on the chairs, under the table. The bride's mother was all in. The bride's father he was intoxicated. He furnished all the liquor for the wedding. It took 6 men, mind you, Judas, to bring it from the store, and he tried to take it all back by himself. Just then he came over to me, put his arms around me, very sentimental, and with tears streaming from his good eye, he said to me, Barney, my boy, we are now one family. My secrets are your secrets. I can't keep nothing from you. The check that I gave you for $5,000 is no good. No, I ask you. Oi, what a headache, Julius.
And that, folks, was Barney's Wedding, as read by Aaron Hoffman. Again, it was a different time, and racial stereotypes were embraced rather than. I've heard worse. Oh, I have heard worse. Thank you for listening and watching. So as I work on my my grading scheme, I've come up with good. No, it starts off as excellent, good, fair, poor, and NFG. You should be able to figure out what NFG stands for. So, I have a good example of that right here. NFG is a disc that is practically unplayable. And you can see this one has a scratch, a deep scratch, right into the recorded surface. But furthermore, there's a chip on the edge here that goes right into the recorded material. And that, my friends, is what I call unplayable. This is a disc that we'll use possibly as a frisbee. Might give it to my parents' dog, perhaps. But that is NFG. Excellent is a disc that has or shows very few to little to no scratching. The label must be in good condition, fully intact, very little fading or print damage. I'll accept a little bit, but ultimately cannot show any chips or cracks at all. That's the good pile. Now, the excellent pile. The good pile can have a few chips and can have a little bit of label damage. That's okay, as long as it's still playable and in good overall physical condition. But I'll accept a little bit of each from each category. A little bit of chipping, a little bit of label damage, good. And the one I just picked up is a star disc. Now these were Edison record dealers were shipped certain discs that would have a star on the label. And those were projected to be poor sellers. So I believe they were sold at a lower price or pushed out of inventory sooner because they were projected to be poor selling records. Now we get down into the not so good category. This is my fair pile. Now these can have severe label damage or multiple chips on the surface, or perhaps even some scuffing. A little bit of scuffing is okay. This one has a very sizable chip. It shows scuffing over the entire surface, and it shows label scuffing. Now these are probably put in stacks and piled on top of other records, or below them anyway. Now we get to the bad. Now this is the poor condition pile. These are records that have multiple chips and damage to the playing surface, or the recorded material. Now this one got in here because of that. Now that is a very deep, very permanent scuff that makes this one practically unplayable. And then you have NFG. As I mentioned earlier, NFG is basically scrap. Records that I will never try to play. And that is kind of how I'm grading them. I'm also recording the category, the catalog numbers and what songs are on each side. And of course the category, tenor, vocal, foxtrot, waltz, and condition rating, and notes as to why they are in that condition bracket if they are not in excellent condition. And of course, the red ones are the highlighted ones are the star discs. I'll maybe put another category or another column in there that identifies those. All right, I managed to get through all those records that I purchased today. All of them are now here. And these are the rejects, the ones that I'm not sure I'm going to put back in here. See how much room I have. I'll probably have like a separate section just for the bad ones, except for that unplayable one, which I'm not so sure what I'm going to do with. So let's see what we got here. Got a total of I bought 45 records. 45 records. I want to say the guy from the owner of Bill's Trading Post, his name is Bill, I guess. I thought he said there were 30-something records in there, but 45 records that's $1 a record. Really, that's not bad. He wanted 50, I gave him 45, and ended up getting for $1 a piece. That's really not a bad deal, even though there were some bad ones. So, all right, now I'm going to go through the ones that I already have. I already found one duplicate. Barney Google. This is the one I had, and it looks to be in pretty good shape. And, oh, yeah, just kidding. But, let's see. I had a Barney Google. Where'd it go? It's in here somewhere. Where is it? I think it was bad. Barney's Wedding. Where the hell is it? I had it in fair condition. That one I would put is... so fair was bad. I would put it as lower than fair. The one I have. Maybe even equal. So. Now, the rest of the ones that I've got in my existing collection are the older... Now, this is bad. This is extreme delamination. This is definitely in poor condition. It's called Hey Wop. This is, Oh, How That Woman Could Cook. This one here is one of the earlier diamond discs. It doesn't have a label that's, it doesn't have a paper label. These were stamped in place. So it's not a label. And the numbering on these ones is on the edge. This is a 50244. Yeah, 50244. Stamped in both spots here. That's how they mark them on the edges. Catalog number. So 50244. We're going to clean these up, catalog them, bid them. I want to point out one thing that's a little bit unusual that some of you may find unusual. Anyway, I know I do. So, the way Edison diamond discs were sold, it wasn't like, again, I think I mentioned this earlier, it wasn't like going out and buying a Wu-Tang album or whatever you're into, where it was, a record by one artist and there were, multiple tracks, 7, 8 tracks. No, it wasn't like that. In fact, the way Edison released his albums, at least for the diamond disc, you have one artist, one song per side. And one of the things I read about Edison that was a little different is that he would use different artists for the same song. So he would only have to pay them once. And if he wanted to re-release that song, he'd pay him again. Or pay a different artist or something like that. I forget the reasoning for that. But, yeah, it's a little different. So, yeah, it wasn't like, they didn't have, like, band names, like the Model Ts, and they did, no, it wasn't like that. It was just different performance artists or session musicians, I believe, would record one song, under contract or multiple songs. And Edison effectively owned the music. The artist was paid once, and that was it. So Edison had the right to re-record that song and using different artists. And it wasn't like, modern, like an orchestra would have, an entire selection of musicians playing their own instruments. But modern rock music is, usually the same group of people, recording. But I'm tired. I'm not explaining myself very well, so I'm going to shut up. Let's file these back in. I got to get more of those dividers. They are the only thing protecting the surface of these records. But yeah, music was certainly heavy back then. Think about all that material, all this material to hold, I think about 8 minutes or so of music total, both like 4 minutes per side, something like that. It's a lot of material to hold 8 minutes of sound. But here's the thing. Here's the key takeaway here. Okay, 100 odd years ago or later, this music still works. Now, I kind of wonder, 100 years from today, in 2118, how much of today's music will still be playable? Unless someone's porting the music over, all of the music over, as each piece of technology wanes. Well, that's the thing. So back in the day, people would go out and they would buy music. They'd buy a player, they'd buy their music, and that was it. They owned it. They could do whatever the hell they wanted with it. Today, people don't go out and buy tangible music. In fact, a lot of people no longer buy even the digital copies of their favorite artists' favorite songs. They depend on streaming services to deliver it to them. When that streaming service goes away, where does the music go? No. This stuff here, even though it might be kind of blah for today's tastes, it still works. 100 years later, it still plays. And pretty well, in fact. Without the use of electricity. So if all the power plants in the world failed, right, and there was no way we could generate, the sun burns out. Power plants fail, sun burns out. All of these will still work. And this machine will still play. Just really makes you think about the temporary nature of today's media. The sheer vaporware nature of today's media. It's just crazy. This stuff still works. And sounds good. Oy. Alright, so my indexing is now complete. And here's what we got. I'm listing them in order of drawer. So they're actually in order of catalog number. And they can be located by the drawer number, 1 or 2. And by index number. So I've divided the drawers. They're set up into 4 sectors. Each sector is divided in half. I'll show you what I mean in a second. So let's take a look at, all right, for example, if if I want to listen to I'm Gonna Let the Bumblebee Be, that's going to be located in drawer number 2. It'll be behind or in front of index card number 25, and the catalog number is 51700. I'm also going to be adding the year in here as well. I'm going to look each catalog number up and find out when they were recorded. So, looking for, all right, 25, drawer 2. So, I'm going to open this up, and we're going to pull out drawer number 2, find index number 25, which is right here, and it should be in this section here. Now, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 usable sections of each drawer. This drawer is mighty heavy, so I'm going to pull it up from the bottom without putting any stress on it. So, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. I'm not using the rear section of the drawers. So these are divided in half, and then so the back half of each sector will be under the back index card, and the front half will be under the front index card. Pretty straightforward. I did lubricate the slides with Castile soap. Hopefully, you know. All right. So we're going to be looking for the Bumblebee. I don't have enough of these dividers to go in between each record, unfortunately. So at least by dividing it into sections of 5. Is this the one? No, that's not it. Yeah, this isn't good for these records, but it's what I got. So it should be here in this section here somewhere. I hate that sound. Is that it? No, that's not it either. Probably the last one we pick here. Ah, there it is. So it narrows it down. I can at least find what I'm looking for. If there's one record that I want to hear, I can now find it. So, all right, we got our record out. Let me go get the tripod. All right. So according to my index, this should be in excellent condition with no visible damage. I see no scratching, no chips, labels in good shape. Release the brake. Let it spin up. Okay, I'm going to guide the needle into position and let her loose. Open the baffle.
Took a stroll one day in the month of May. Through the park I chanced to stray. Saw a bumblebee buzzing round the tree. So I buzzed right away. Now a bumblebee buzzing round the tree might appear to be a friend. Listen to this song and you'll find you're wrong. It gets you in the end. I'm gonna let the bumblebee be. I'm gonna let the bumblebee be. A bumblebee will buzz, buzz, buzz. That ain't all he does, does, does. And I ain't the fool that I used to was. I'm gonna let the bumblebee be. Bought a diamond ring for a sweet young thing. She was mine and mine alone. Now the sweet young thing just returned the ring, but it ain't got no stone. Just the other night I was called to fight, cause a fellow kicked my cup. Now this great big guy tried to hit my eye, but I just closed it up. I was all dressed up, just like Astor's Pup, had a cane and brand new hat. What a red necktie, and as I walked by, the boys all tipped their hats. Introduced my pal to my city gal, he thought that she was fine. Then he went away at the break of day. Oh, where's that gal of mine? I'm gonna let the bumblebee be. I'm gonna let the bumblebee replied right back, my dear son Jack, and so is your old man. I'm gonna let the bumblebee be. I'm gonna let the bumblebee be. Oh, bumblebee, buzz, buzz, buzz. That ain't all he does. And I ain't the fool that I used to was. I'm gonna let the bumblebee be. People say always that a woman pays, but they really have no cause. For the girls I meet when I'm on the street must think I'm Santa Claus. In the pale moonlight, met a girl one night who was crying with the blues. From the very start, she touched my heart and touched me for new shoes. Telephoned my girl and I said, dear Pearl, just to call on you I yearn. And she said, all right, but tomorrow night you'll have to wait your turn. There's a lot of dough on the radio, 'tis a sad, sad tale to tell. 'Cause the wife got sore every morning at 4, and all I got was static. I'm gonna let the bumblebee be. I'm gonna let the bumblebee be. Oh, bumblebee, buzz, 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 buzz. That ain't all he does. And I ain't the fool that I used to was. I'm gonna let the bumblebee be.
And there you have it. You know, honestly, I kind of enjoyed that one. It had a nice tune to it, nice rhythm to it. I mean, that's a foxtrot, I believe. And it is a tenor duet. Let's hear the other side. I'm curious. Hot Coffee is the name of the other track. Let's see what we got. That was enjoyable. You know? I mean, that song is probably from the mid-1920s. But it's not a bad song. It has a nice... Let's see what this one's got.
Hungry as sin, walk right in. Ask for a bill of fare. Open my eyes with surprise at someone waiting there. Said, dear, look here. Oh, babe, I just want you near. Cuddle your charm in my arms. Give me kisses there where bliss is the hot coffee. You talk a cradle delving. Hot coffee, I never knew this loving. Hot coffee, there never was another that could ever be one half so hot. Hot coffee, you'll sugar it up and creamy. Hot coffee, ain't nothing else but steamy. I've been testing quite a lot, but nobody's got heading like sweeties. God lead me to it. Oh, with hot coffee, hot. Listen to that trombone. Makes me want to leave home. There never was a blue who could do what you stand oh so cute. It's hotter on a cornet. Piano is the best fit. I've been testing quite a lot, but nobody's got testing like sweeties. God, you said it. Oh, it's hot coffee, hot. Hungry for love, burning love. That's what my system craves. Soon as I get one real test, my appetite behaves. Hold tight, good night. You sure do your stuff alright. Do it some more, then some more. You the honey for my money. Hot coffee, you talk a turtle devil. Hot coffee, I never knew such loving. Hot coffee, there never was nothing that could ever be one half so hot. Hot coffee, I'll sugar it up and creamy. Hot coffee, ain't nothing else but steamy. I've been testing quite a lot, but nobody's got acting like sweeties. Got, oh baby, oh with hot coffee, hot.
Well then. Just let it run down. Well, you know, I'm going to finish up my indexing by now looking up the years these records were produced. And then, yeah. Well, thank you for watching, and have a great time.